Welcome to the Godville. Today I'm going to make my first episode of commentary on the wisdom of Solomon, specifically today Ecclesiastes chapter 11. He was the wisest man before Christ, and my last reading was particularly rich. I especially recommend it for young men. This chapter particularly is meant for them. Send out your bread upon the surface of the waters, for in the course of many days you will find it again. Give a portion to 7, or even to 8, for you do not know what calamity will occur on the earth. The word bread here most likely meant corn seeds or rice. He is telling you to be generous, and when you are in a position to provide resources for the needy, to give a portion to 7, even 8, because you don't know when there will be a calamity, whether death or a decline in one's circumstances and quality of life. Better to help the needy when you have the means now, because you don't know what tomorrow might bring. You could lose your chance because something bad happens in the future. By saying after many days we will find the crops again, he is saying that our generous spirit will be rewarded in one way or another, in equal measure, if we are patient. This parallels in the Gospel of Luke when Jesus spoke of the steward that reduced the debts of his master's debtors, as his employment would soon be over, gaining the favor of those he helped, and they provide him lodging. Jesus told people afterward to make use of the unrighteous riches so that when they fail, they may receive you into the everlasting dwelling places. If the clouds are filled with water, they empty out a sheer downpour upon the earth. And if a tree falls to the south, or if to the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it will prove to be. This verse ties into the first two verses, and I understand death could be compared to a dissipating rain cloud or a falling tree. Because of the eventuality that befalls us all, death, the great equalizer, it makes no difference at that point how much wealth you acquired. So use the days allotted to you generously. But there is more to this verse as well. You have probably heard the expression from John Locke a couple centuries ago that if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, it doesn't make a sound. There are versions of this phrase that get even more extreme, and the position the tree didn't make a sound, or even that it didn't exist if unperceived, is provided as an example of a solipsistic view in documentaries on physics. Given Solomon was a philosopher, and Ecclesiastes is the oldest known work of existentialist philosophy, by him writing the place where the tree falls there will prove to be, can be taken as a refutation of solipsism as well as an affirmation of objective reality external to our minds and our sensory perception. He that is watching the wind will not sow seed, and he that is looking at the clouds will not reap. Not much needs to be said about this verse. It's easy to understand. Don't expect results in life if you are paralyzed by anxiety and uncertainty of the future. Same is true of laziness as well. Get to work and pursue your goals. Just as you are not aware of what is the way of the spirit in the bones in the belly of her that is pregnant, in like manner you do not know the work of the true God who does all things. This verse is deep and profound if you know a bit about Chinese medicine. Many centuries after Solomon's day, the Chinese developed the field of internal alchemy, which covers 3 energies associated with various body parts called Qi, Jing, and Shen. The word spirit in the context of that verse is virtually a synonym for these energies, especially Jing, the life force we receive from our biological fathers at conception. A lot of this field is connected to the bones, as it's in the bone marrow that most of the cells are manufactured. Good bones is good for Qi, and Shen, which is connected to cerebral spinal fluid. Solomon is saying here, just as you are not aware of the way of these energies in the bones of a fetus, as it gestates in a pregnant woman, we do not know the work of God who does all things. In the morning sow your seed, and until the evening do not let your hand rest, for you are not knowing where this will have success, either here or there, or whether both of them will alike be good. We don't know which investments and ventures we invest our labor and time in will pay off, just as one doesn't know how much crops will come harvest time when he plants his seeds. Nevertheless, put in effort diligently in your labors despite the uncertainty of life, not half-heartedly, but with vigor, starting early in the morning and until the evening. The light is also sweet, and it is good for the eyes to see the sun. For if a man should live, even many years, in all of them let him rejoice, and let him remember the days of darkness, though they could be many. Every day that has come in its vanity. Light is sweet, that is, life is good. It is good to get up in the morning, to see the sun, and have all the possibilities ahead of you. However many years you might live, whatever the duration, take joy in all of it. But remember the days of darkness, that one day you will die. Though you might even enjoy a long life, death reduces all that precedes it to mere vanity. Rejoice, young man, in your youth, and let your heart do you good in the days of your young manhood. And walk in the ways of your heart, and in the things seen by your eyes. But know that on account of all these, the true God will bring you into judgment. So remove vexation from your heart, and ward off calamity from your flesh. For youth and the prime of life are vanity. Enjoy your life. In the days of your life, rejoice in the pursuit of happiness, the bloom of youth, but keep in mind that God will take into account however your youth is spent. As 2 Timothy notes, flee the desires incidental to youth. The Hebrew word bakur here for young man usually refers to a teenager. Solomon reminds the teens undergoing puberty not to indulge in their hormones, removing vexation from their hearts. How emotionally unpleasant and messy can life get? How sorrowful at times, when a youth's heart is in the turbulent storm of young love. By removing this vexation, one can ward off calamity, for in our fallen state, youth is a fleeting thing, and our prime of life a mere striving after the wind. That concludes today's commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. If you find my content worthwhile, make sure to like, share, subscribe, donate, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, if you haven't already, check out the good book. This barely scratches the surface.